Hello, everybody. Seth Juarez here. A familiar face in the Azure family joins me now. Chief Technical Officer Mark Russinovich. Mark,
Seth,
what's going on? You haven't invited me to the family barbecue since, let me see, never.
I was going to invite you this build, but
Right.
when you handed me off to Rick, I was
he was on with Rick yesterday, and I was like, why don't I get to talk to Mark? So I diva'd my way into this. Look, Mark, it's been a number of years since we've talked about Azure Confidential Compute. We did a couple of Channel 9 videos, remember, on Confidential Compute. We did some with blockchain. Can you catch us all up on what's new?
Yeah, we've been working on confidential computing since about 2014, tight collaboration with Microsoft Research, who had already started working on exploring confidential computing. And this year has kind of been a breakthrough year when it comes to confidential computing technologies and services that we've been offering. A key one in the hardware space is that we've been offering SGX servers in our data centers now for a couple of years. Last year we went GA with them. Intel's releasing new servers this year that have gigabytes of encrypted memory, as opposed to the hundreds of megabytes in the current generation, the preceding generation. So that's going to unlock a whole lot of workloads that are going to really have great performance inside of enclaves on SGX. We also had this amazing announcement from AMD of confidential virtual machines. So unlike the enclaves, these confidential virtual machines, or at SNP it's called in AMD's hardware, allows you to run a full virtual machine OS unmodified on top of in a confidential encrypted memory. So those are two key hardware things that we've got. And then from a software perspective, we've been releasing a bunch of new capabilities, including some announcements here at Build.
This is cool stuff, and I don't think people understand, what does it actually mean that it's hardware secured? And we want to spend a little bit of time, because I don't think people understand what that means. At least I don't.
So the core of this confidentiality is something called an enclave, where an enclave is protected region of the CPU, protected by the hardware, the very core of the hardware. So as the CPU actually starts up, it can protect a region of the memory of the CPU, as well as the control registers of the CPU, such that only certain code can run inside that enclave and have access to it. Anything looking from the outside is just going to see encrypted contents and have no ability to modify what's going on inside. So this is the place where you can have your data, very sensitive data, effectively be encrypted while it's in use, is the way that we frame it.
This is really cool. It's like having the special secret room inside of your machine where all the data, all the compute is literally encrypted. Am I getting this right?
That's effectively it, yep.
I dumbed it down just for me, Mark. Now, are people using this?
Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of customers using it. We've a couple like Mobile Coins using it on top of Azure, and one of our key customers, one of the largest consumers of confidential computing services on Azure, is Signal.
That's actually interesting. And now I know you have a video for our Signal that's showing the use. Can we play that? Let's cue that up and let's react to it right after.
Yep.
Signal is a nonprofit organization dedicated to global privacy and communication. Our flagship product is Signal Messenger, which is a secure end-to-end encrypted messaging app. It's used all over the world by all kinds of different people.
At the heart of it all, we believe that the data we're protecting is your data and not our data. In the beginning of this year, we ended up on the #1 position on app stores in more than 70 countries across the world.
When things really took off, we really did see the load on our systems begin to spike. In particular, our confidential computing systems were really under a lot of strain, and we needed to add capacity fast.
The easiest determining factor for us in making the decision to move to Azure Cloud exclusively for these services was the simple availability of computing resources.
Azure Confidential Computing really helps us deliver what our users need, which is transparent, privacy-preserving communication. Some of the biggest benefits we've seen are the ability to scale dynamically, quickly, and with little notice. That takes a lot of pressure off our ops teams. It means we can respond to surges in demand quickly, and that is a really, really powerful thing.
We build on trust as the core of everything that brings people to Signal and how we operate our service.
Signal can't read your messages. We don't know who your contacts are. Azure allows us to build and deploy the systems that make that possible.
People who use Signal see their data as their own, is end-to-end encrypted. It only exists on their device and the device of the recipients receiving the information. The ability to rely on a trusted partner or vendor that can do all that for us at the scale with the global footprint that we need is one of the ways in which Microsoft helps us best. I'm excited for continuing to ride going forward as we continue to see more interest and rapid growth in Signal.
So, Mark, this is really cool because it just occurred to me, and as I was watching, that like I was looking at the hardware on a single box, but now let's talk about scale and security both and how it helps Signal.
Well, so one of the benefits of a cloud provider like Azure is that we know how to scale quickly. And so when they had this demand surge, they contacted us. We worked with them. How many servers do you need? And we got them deployed really quickly so that basically we're able to meet the demands of their huge growth that they experienced.
Yeah, and it was like I remember downloading it recently, the actual app, and it felt like smooth as butter. And the fact that no one can see what I'm doing or they even know what I'm doing is amazing. There's got to be some Azure goodness in engineering to be able to scale that out well and still maintain security.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so basically, there's the raw hardware capabilities, which you're talking about here in the case of Signal. But we've got a bunch of other customers that are using confidential services that are built on top of that confidential hardware to unlock really cool scenarios. Like RBC is one of our key customers that we've been partnering with over this journey towards confidential computing that's created something called a virtual clean room where they allow multi-party computation. So it's ability for merchants, customers, and the banks to mix data together with none of them having any access to each other's data, but being able to perform analytics, machine learning on that data to be able to give customers better offers, for example, that are tailored for exactly what they're doing. So, and then, talking about other services that customers make use of, here at Build, we announced Azure Confidential Ledger
Right.
and Azure SQL database ledger, which can be deployed onto that confidential ledger. And what that gives you is this tamper-proof record of everything that's happened with your SQL database that you can go verify the state of that SQL database and ensure that nothing's been tampered with. If somebody comes to you and says, hey, that transaction never really happened, you can go back into the ledger and verify whether that's really true or not.
This is amazing. Where can people go to find out more? We got 10 seconds.
Confidential computing, there's a confidential computing resource right on Microsoft Learn documents that will provide you an overview of what's going on. Of course, the Build announcements, so just Build will have the pointers to Azure Confidential Ledger as well as the SQL database ledger.
Awesome. Well, Mark, always a privilege and a pleasure to talk to you.